Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit and hang out with all of you. I hope you're all doing well on this lovely Monday evening. If you're currently a subscriber, you can go to the Barricade leg of the site emote into chat. You can also throw that PogChamp into chat uh, because our good friend over there, Mr. PogChamp himself, we're so psyched to see Khalif Adams out there as PogChamp today. Khalif is just an A+ dude. You may know him as Kaka Beware in League of Heels or from Spawn on Me, which you probably know him from. Hey Julie, hey Lord Crashington, hey Bobby, hey Lashbrook. Oh, we got a stellar crew here right off. Aristophan is here. Yeah, so you might not know that. You probably know this. You know what you know about Poggers. You know about being Poggers, and you know PogChamp, and that the emote for PogChamp is a dude that I don't need to say anything about other than he sucks. Um, and so they were doing this thing. It was a suggestion where Twitch every day has a different emoticon for PogChamp, and it changes. And then there's a new PogChamp every day, and it's our friend of the stream is today, which rules. Has that been a fucking problem for some people? Yeah. Are the people it's been a problem for, in the majority of, women and minorities? Yeah. Um, because it doesn't seem like Twitch is doing anything other than changing the face and then putting a tweet out, like offering to help moderation. So, you know, it's fun. Uh, but yeah, it is cool, and we're happy for him. I'm happy for you being here. As of this moment, it looks like my closed captioning is working. Now, this won't be part of the YouTube stream because my recording it doesn't show up in the recording. This is so I don't know for sure if this shows up in the VOD. I apologize for not knowing. I believe it does. I believe I have it set so it'll show up in the VOD. But if not, those who are watching live have the option to turn that off. But I got closed caption here. It's really fun in the second hour when I start talking about anime because it's just like I don't know what you're saying right now. It also doesn't really know. But it is cool that it exists, and I'm happy that it is a thing that is provided. It is an extension that wasn't working for a while, but I was determined to get it to work again, and I got it to work again. Um, yeah, I hope you're all doing okay out here on a Monday evening. We got a night of model kit building. Um, I'm doing all right. We'll talk about it throughout the thing. Um, First and foremost, if you were wondering, if you didn't see my tweets about it, I talked about this on Saturday during the stream. Nobody in this house has COVID right now. There are negative tests all around, which is excellent. Very happy to hear that. We were exposed to somebody who has tested positive for COVID, who as of right now is showing no symptoms other than a fever. Um, but we were exposed to that person, so testing happened, and then I believe a second test will be happening soon, just to make sure that things are cool. But yeah, scary moment. Certainly not thrilled about that, but happy to report that things look all right at the moment. Lord Crashton says it's cold, snowy day, just like the past few days. I mean, yeah, that snow's probably not going anywhere for a little bit. I mean, it will, but it's it's January, so once that snow comes down, it stays down. Um, so yeah, happy to hear that. My ankle's hurt right now because you may have also remember from Saturday I talked about buying a DDR pad. Oh, sorry, a Stepmania pad because it comes with a Stepmania disc, so you know it's Stepmania. Anyway, I got a DDR pad, a USB DDR pad, and my ankles don't like it. Uh, I certainly have had pads like this in the past, although I'm more akin to going to arcade. I'm more used to going to arcade. Um, so arcade, you wear shoes. Pads, you don't. The pad is very thin. It's inexpensive. That is a given. Um, but I did a bunch of dancing and hurt my feet. My feet are hurt. Uh, my ankles. I'm not in the right shape for exercise of that nature. Totally okay with biking. I'm doing a lot of biking for exercise, and that's been fine. Those muscles are just doing great. No problems there. But yeah, my ankles and my feet are definitely just like, hey, you're moving weird. What is this? Hey, you're putting a lot of weight on us. You're not moving too much. Um, but it'll all work out. I'll take it easy with it. But I am excited to be dancing because there's a lot of great music out there that I had forgotten about in the old Dance Dance Revolutions. So I'm excited to be doing that and just to mix things up because it's cold in the garage where the bike is. So kind of figure some stuff out. All right, so the intro portion's done. Welcome, as I've said. I'm going to go out and throw a retweet, try to get a few more folks to come join us here in the chat. It's okay if they don't. That's all right. Some people are watching this later on YouTube. Some people are watching on the VOD, and hello to you if you don't watch it live. And then, of course, there are many of you folks here live watching the stream as well, and I appreciate that. Hop into chat, say some stuff. Don't say anything, whatever you want to do. On Saturday, we had a friend join us and have many things to say. Sometimes that happens. We get some people to come in. They got a lot they want to type about. They're very happy to have someone that is reading chat and conversing with them. And we get that. And there's some of y'all that are like, I'm going to hang back. I'm going to throw some emotes in, but I'm going to pick my spot and chat when it's time. And I respect that and appreciate that. We are working on the Nu Zeon. This is the base of this is basically the new Gundam from Char's Counterattack. It's mostly Char's Counterattack, with obviously that kit from that show, or heavily modified, obviously, because it's from Build Divers Re-Rise. We've got one arm done here. Oh, Calu's here and wants me to hit the old gong, so I will. Thank you for using channel points, and welcome. Gonna hit that gong. Gong comes in. The gong has been hit. So I got my I've got my color notification here. I'm gonna do. Yeah, we're just gonna put that right here. I'm just gonna put that down over here. It's pronounced chair or share. Yeah, I know. I say char. Here's the thing. I learned it as char, but it's chair. But I learned it as char, and I've never been able to unlearn it as char, which is a problem that I have. That I in my life, often from reading things, I learned pronunciation just improperly, and I have to unlearn it. And I haven't. Somebody renewed their subscription, and if you want to hit that notification, you totally can. You don't have to if you don't want to. But thank you for whoever renewed their subscription. Anyway, we got their head, we got our body here, we've got one arm done, we've got components of the other arm done. Going to put them together. I did, as a warm-up today, I did some panel lining here, and you can see I moved it to be over the image. This is a reminder for myself of what colors we will be using today for line work, which is for any red piece, we'll be using a brown marker. For maroon pieces, we'll use the black marker. And for the gold, we'll be using the gray marker. Hey, Epic Open World, happy to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, welcome to the stream. But yeah, right now we're just going to assemble the rest of the hand here. Not much left to do with this. And assemble the other arm. And then we'll be ready to go. This needs to go this way, because these arms are odd, and they feel a little odd to me. Anyway, not super odd. Put the hand on there, and then we've got to get this on. We'll get this on here, and then slide this in there. Oops. There we go. and done. And then these slide in here, kind of lock in place, which is cool. And there we go. We've got the upper body of this kit has been assembled. And now it's time for feet. Often with these high grades, you're going to do your top there, then you're going to skip the waist, and the waist ends up being last oftentimes. So we are going to do the feet, and then we will be doing the entire right leg and then the entire left leg. And we'll get through that. But yeah, if you missed the stream on Saturday, it was a fun one, and I wish you could have been here, but it's okay. We started working on this kit. We started talking about what this kit is from, because it is an odd kit. This is from Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise, and it is the new Zeon Gundam. The idea is Captain Zeon is a person playing the virtual game and wants to bring order and civility to the proceedings, and has just a warped idea of what the Principality of Zeon is, and just decided to make something kind of between a Zaku and a Gundam, or if Zeon had a Gundam. This is what they have. So it's a little Zaku, it's a little Sazabi. It's mostly the new Gundam. Yeah, it's just a weird show that makes some really big choices that I really love. This kit has just a giant sword, shield, and a big beam weapon. I'll show the big. Look at this big beam. Look how this beam is so big. Big beam is unnecessarily big. Why is it like that? Yeah, and it's got the funnels, and the funnels are almost like a cape. It's got so much. It's got so much going on that I really do love. How ballsy this thing is. All right, so let's get F. We need F here. I'm gonna get going. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well out there on the internet. Not a lot going on with me. I think someone is compensating for something with the size of that beam. Well, Epic World, I mean, sometimes in order to be a symbol for the people, you got to go over the top, and you really got to sell it. You got to go for it. But yeah, not a whole lot going on with me. I shot a bunch of video stuff over the weekend, so that was good to get that out of the way. One of those videos will go up. I don't know when it'll go up, actually. In order to be a symbol, you got to make some noise, says Bobby. And Bobby spelled symbol with the C, like the drums. It was good. And yes, distrusting spectators throwing in the PogChamp. Yes, indeed. Our friend Khalif is in there as PogChamp today, which is cool. You love to see it. Good to see our friend out there representing, having a good day. Be in the PogChamp for a day, which is neat. Yeah. Yeah, I shot some video stuff, one of which I don't know when it's going up because it is timed to another website wanting to put content up on their website. So when they want to put up the thing, then I'll put up the thing, and that's fine. And then the other video will come out on Wednesday as it normally does, but I just shoot that later than I normally do. Pat, what did you do before the pandemic? I assume the pandemic messed with your life like it did mine. Yeah, so right now I live in, so a lot of fucking shit happened with the pandemic. So before the pandemic, I was still streaming basically the same schedule I do here, right? Monday, Thursday, Saturday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern, model kit building. Wednesday, 9 p.m. to question mark, some sort of video game or some other thing. But up until July of 2020, I was doing that from my apartment in New York where I lived and worked. But my jobs that I had, my jobs, plural, because as of 2019, I was underemployed, working a lot, but not working enough. I was working at various theaters in their tech department, doing lights and sound for various productions, some independent stuff, some small theaters, And I had some gigs that all of a sudden weren't gigs anymore because the theaters couldn't be open, which is obviously really rough. And it no longer made sense for me to live in New York if I wasn't leaving my apartment financially, and I still had some stuff, so I moved down here to South Carolina with my folks, and I'm still streaming, which is great. Luckily, you know, had to buy a wireless adapter for my sorry, not my laptop, my desktop, so that I can stream here from this room that I'm in. And yeah, trying to work as much as I can safely as possible. Um, and someday I will move back to New York. I do not know when that will be, but I will move back to New York at some point in the future because uh, that's where I want to be again. So yeah, uh, it is pretty much not. It is not a possibility for me to work in theaters at this point. Look, are there some places in the world that are open for that kind of performance? Certainly. Will theater come back in New York at some point? Yeah, it will. It's going to take a while. There are a lot of places that won't reopen, I'm sure, but some that will. We'll figure that out. And there'll be some new things that find an opportunity and to to open, and those venues will need people to do lights and sound, and hopefully I will end up with something. Uh, for very different reasons, 2019 was a bad year for me. And so I was going in 2020 like certainly not like in the best spot financially. So this really did super negatively affect me, as it did, obviously as it did with so many other people. So I'm not trying to say it didn't affect other people just as much, if not more. So yeah, that's basically the gist of it. I've been doing a lot of freelance stuff, a little bit of writing that I can't say is mine, uncredited writing here and there. I do customer service stuff, which can all obviously be done remotely. A few other things here and there. I do incredibly light video editing because I'm not great at video editing, as you can see by any videos that I make for myself. 2021, thought it was going to be amazing for everyone, right? So, Epic Open World, the thing is, right? People say this in a way that is condescending, and I understand why they say it. They're like, look, when the clock ticks over to the new year, it doesn't magically make things better. And it's like, no, duh. No shit. Nobody's saying that. People are saying, with an attempt to be positive, hey, here's hoping next year's better than the last. And I think that obviously it does, like I said, it doesn't mean that like January is going to be great. Just like when people are going to talk about the year 2020, right? People are going to talk about March through the end of the year, right? Nobody's going to talk about January of 2020. January 2020 might as well be 2019. So even though I had a good January, I had a fantastic February. PAX East kicked ass. That was a great show. I had great panels. I had fantastic attendance for one of them. Uh, the Pepper's Anime Club had incredible attendance for a first time panel, and like I had a good time. But that's like 2019. So yeah, 2021 hasn't been great yet. Once it starts being great, the stuff that wasn't good I will just consider part of 2020. We'll just put it in there. I wanted this year to be better and decided 5 days ago to buy a condo, and now own a condo. See, already, Julie already is having a great 2021. So there you go. Now you got a fucking condo, Julie. Congratulations. You're a homeowner. Uh, January, February 2020 might as well not exist in the history books. Yeah, exactly, Epic Open World. It's like, whatever. That happened. It's a faded memory. But yeah, that rules. Congratulations. All right, we finished our feat here. So we're going to move on to the leg, but first, it's time to do a little bit of panel lining. So for our red, we're going to use brown. There's not much red here, but we'll obviously we'll do that. And there's not much need for the maroon, but we're just going to hit some of these lines here with our pen. If you haven't seen me do panel lining, I'll briefly just say I do these in a quick and dirty method. I am just hitting some of these lines here real quick with my pen, and then I will use a marker to erase kind of what's going on there. We'll put that there, and all the extra will get taken away by the lovely eraser. I use this polymer eraser here to do this. It works really good. Also, if you get too much of your marker on the eraser, you could just scrape it away with your nail. If you notice that you are putting smudges on the kit instead of removing it from it. All right, so we do that. We clean that up a little bit. That looks good. And then we'll move on to, we are using for the maroon, we are using black on the maroon. And there's not a lot of lines here, so we'll hit the lines. Kind of hit there. When it comes to colors that are hitting other colors, it is definitely kind of, it's up to you how you want to choose to what color to use there. I end up often just kind of going with my gut. I was like, well, this is where the maroon and the red meet. I'll just do that because it's mostly going to be on the red. We'll do it there. And if you don't like it, you can just really get in there and erase it. Kind of start over. We don't have to go too hard on the legs, or the feet, I should say. The legs a little bit more because it won't show up too much. Generally feet don't grab the eye in model kits more than anything else, unless it's in a transformation mode or you're doing some sort of pose and you really want the kicks to, like if you're doing like a thing where you got the foot up because you're kicking at the viewer. So maybe, but yeah, for the most part, doesn't have to get that. I almost never do the bottom of the feet because I said mostly it's going to stand up, so I'm not worried about that. So then we'll just clean this up here. Hit the spots. I do the backs of kits often, or the backs of the arms and stuff, but that's not like super necessary. Most of the time you're only going to do what you're going to see, but I do want to get more practice doing this. This is only like my third or fourth kit where I'm doing panel lining, so I'm still new to it. I still have more to learn. Like, really had to figure out what colors I was going to use for what pieces because these colors are a little different than what I've done previous. So I was like, oh, I don't know how I want this to look. All right, so we'll do that, clean it up. So I was just like, okay, well, I'll just kind of figure it out as I go. And if I don't like it, I can change it. Brown. We need brown for the red. But yeah, this kit obviously because it is a Gundam, but it is a Zeon Gundam basically. It doesn't have any white. It doesn't have white as the main part of the Gundam body. Obviously, not all Gundams are white, but a lot of them are, or feature a lot of white parts. And that's an easy thing to figure out. And then you have like a couple accent colors. Like those are pretty easy in order to panel line. But something like this, which has like two different reds, I was like, I don't know what this is going to look like. I still don't know for sure if black is the right color to go on the maroon, but that's what we're going with. That's what looked best of the options. All right, so our feet are done. We can put our feet aside. Move in there. Our feet aside, I should say. And we can move on. Let's see. Yeah, so I've always talked about the series that I make that comes out on Wednesdays. I was kind of talking about this before. I'll finish that part of the conversation up. Wednesdays right now I'm doing Bear With Me, which is a video series if you haven't seen it, where I watch and react to something. It is a reaction series. Um, and normally I record those like a week out because I like to have like a week to decide if I like it, make sure it uploads, figure that whole thing out. Um, but I didn't because there was a thing that came out on Sunday I really wanted to cover, so I did record that on Sunday, and it still turned out well. I also had to heavily edit it. It needed more editing than I'm normally used to, so I'm glad I had the time to do it. And I think it'll turn out pretty good. I think this week's um, Bear With Me is going to be pretty good. I think people are going to be happy to see it. So we'll see. Um, oh, well, we got to. I'll read what you said. Just trusting in 1 second. I do have to ban this person, who's not you, obviously, who wants to know if I want to be famous or whatever nonsense they're peddling. Very tough stuff, Pat. Glad you still have the streaming to keep afloat. I myself have been screwed over by COVID. Pretty sure everyone in chat has been screwed over. Yes, indeed. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Wait, Pat, I wanted to be famous. Is that an epic open world? Yeah, I know, right? It's just, I just don't think they're being truthful. But yeah, no. COVID has definitely messed with a lot of people. I'm glad that I'm able to stream from here, and to be able to keep doing this. I'm glad that people are still able to watch and enjoy what I'm doing. It's weird to say that December and January have been some of my best subscriber numbers I've ever had. That December became like my all-time high. Like it, but also let's normalize being okay with saying 2020 sucked, but there were good things that happened in it. Or I think that is an important thing. I think some people are like worried about uh, being able to promote themselves, and or their joys, their other joys. Be it a something you got, like a promotion, or welcoming a child into the world, or getting a fucking condo. Like, let's celebrate those cool things that are happening. Just because obviously we are living in fucking rough times doesn't mean we can't be psyched. Pat will never be famous now, says Lord Crashington. Oh, Lord Crashington, you're killing me. And then, yeah, I learned you about content through Kathleen from Learning Right Around. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah. Kathleen was very nice enough to have me be a guest in a couple of streams, which was so generous and nice of her. So happy to do some island tours. And I've done one Wednesday stream when they did Crossing the Streams that was all guests and Graham. And that was really fun. I've been a big fan of Loading Ready Run for quite some time. And also just like a fan of those people. They're just like good people, good, nice people. Um, so yeah, it was really, really cool to be able to pop in. But yeah, just like fantastic folks. That is the wrong piece. Every once in a while, I will do that, folks. I will just pull out the wrong piece, and that's okay. Because you can. All right, no, that's the right one. That's 4. Okay, that was the right piece. It happens. They really are nice people, aren't they? Yeah, totally. They're just genuinely fantastic folks. Good vibes all around. Like, do I know all of them personally? No. I don't know all of them, but I know many of them, and I'm always happy to be able to spend time with them and meet more of them. Quite a few folks have done some of my some stream stuff with me and been panel guests, which is really nice. And the number one thing I have found is because myself and Harold, who's not here tonight, but Harold Price, H-Bomb, and Friends is another big Loading Ready Run fan. The number one thing that I found is genuinely their audience, especially the audience that are convention goers, are like very receptive. So you get this thing with streamers, audience. Not all streaming audiences, but a lot of streaming audiences. It's part of the sycophant relationship, um, which I'm not saying quite right, but I think you get what I'm saying for it. Parasocial. I was saying sycophant. In some instances, it is sycophant, but mostly it's parasocial. That was the actual word I was looking for, so I do apologize for just saying the wrong word there. But you end up finding in some of these relationships, parasocial was the word I was looking for. Is people really identify with the folks they identify with, and uh, when new people are brought in, it's confusing because it's like, no, I like you. I don't know what this other thing is. So like, I did Pepper's Anime Club at PAX East this year, right? I had all my guests were Loading Ready Run or Loading Ready Run adjacent. It was Ben and Corey and Jacob. And a lot of the audience was there because they are fans of those folks. And it made total sense that they might be like, who is this guy that invited all the people we like to be on a thing? Now, also, there were a lot, I should say this. There were plenty of people in that audience who didn't know who any of us were. They saw the word anime in a panel title, and they were like, "There's an anime panel at PAX. I'm going to that." Which is a thing that I wish I had figured out a while ago. That it was like, because I've learned this. Here's the problem: is I've learned this lesson so many times that PAX is so big and people's interests are so varied that people will just go to a thing not knowing who the hosts are, not knowing anything about it. Because I've run a wrestling panel and people have come who were like, I don't know any of these people. I just saw wrestling. And I was like, there's going to be wrestling on the main stage? I'll go to that. Um, or people who come to foreign it because they're just like, I don't know, you're talking about internet. That sounds cool. I'll go to that. Or improv, or any other panel stuff that I've done. So it shouldn't be a surprise to me that there were just random strangers. But this all to say, the Loading Ready Run folks have been incredibly great. To just be like, generally, the vibe I have gotten from fans is, oh, they like you? Okay, cool. Which is great. Because you're always a little afraid. Because I have done stuff in the past where I was met with a lot of resistance from the audience. Because generally, including Giant Bomb, which would be surprising to some people and other people not surprising at all. But I got a lot of pushback from being on the Beastcast a couple times, the New York-based podcast, because I was New York-based. And mainly, it's people who are just like, you're a lot, which is not wrong. They're not wrong. One of the best things about having a stream like this is me doing stuff and interacting with you, but it's still just it's a whole lot of me because I'm a lot. I'm a big voice, opinionated person, performer, and I do I'm out there. I put myself out there, so I can be a little overwhelming for people that haven't decided they like me. And I'm aware of that. So yeah, when I'm a guest on things, sometimes I'm a lot. And there are, especially with Giant Bomb already there's a sense from some of the audience, not all of it, but some of it, that like they automatically don't like new people. They automatically don't like guests unless they already know who the guests are. They're not there for guests. They're there for the people they like. I find it funny when someone would show up to the League of Heels panel not knowing anyone, considering how many people participate in the show. Epic Open World, but yeah, a lot of people, not a lot, but there's always people that are like, well, I saw you in Bandland, and you're a wrestling show, so I just went because I really love wrestling. Yeah, but there are always going to be people who are just like, I had no idea what this was, but I'm here now and I'm having fun. Uh, but yeah, there's so many people in there's so many people in League of Heels. You'd think that everyone would know somebody there. And we also got like some big names. We got some names that you wouldn't recognize, but we definitely booked some people that were pretty well known. All right, so as always with this kit, or with any kit, I'm slowly putting the one leg together, figuring out how it works, and then the other leg will come together way easier. Um, but yeah, that is often the case, and I find that when I'm like guesting on something or other people, obviously not just me, but there is that kind of vibe sometimes where you feel like you're intruding. Although I always say it's like, hey, what if the people you like just like people? What if they think other people are cool, and then you find out about other cool people because of that? And that was always a part of doing. Once I got established enough at PAX that I could just run panels, like yes, did I book people that had names associated with them that would draw an audience? Of course I did. Of course, that's why I would have a lot of Giant Bomb people or Loading Ready Run people on my panels because they have built-in fan base that would come to a panel. But I also would put people in that maybe aren't the biggest names in the world, but are fucking just the coolest people I know. And the goal is for some people to see what I do, see a cool person, and go, I don't know who that is. Who's that? I don't know who that is. But they are very funny. Because even someone big like Laser from the Double Clicks are a well known band, but maybe not everyone in my audience who knows me knows about the Double Clicks. So I had Laser on because I was like, well, Laser is funny and cool, and maybe you'll go and check out the Double Clicks, a band I really like, because you saw Laser do my panel, and they are fantastic. Um, I don't remember when I first found out about you, Pat. Well, it was something related to Giant Bomb. I know that. Yeah, I mean, like, also, a thing that is very funny to me is there are people who only know me because they were searching makers and crafting here. Like, I've been doing this now for almost 3 years, but there are people that know me because I'm a streamer, which is so weird to me because I don't think of that as like a thing. I think of this as a thing I do. It is a part time job. Um, but yeah, there are people who like found out about this and this is how they know me and they're like, "Oh, you do other stuff." Okay, cool. Which is very strange. It's always felt weird that there are people that like that like don't know about the video stuff that I've done. They don't know about me from New York and the comedy stuff I've done there. They don't know me from PAX things and my association with Giant Bomb and various other panels that I've done. And that always feels weird because it's just like, oh, sure. Thanks for being here. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, a lot of folks know me from the various uh, internet stuff that I've done. And then when I find out that there's some people who are just like, yeah, I don't know what I know you from, uh, from like a retweet or from like a guest spot I did on something. Eh. Yeah, like I said, leading into some pack stuff, I would make appearances on Giant Bomb stuff here and there. I'll have a guest top 10 this week. I'll say it now. I mean, I've been hinting at it. Uh, I've been hinting at it basically for like a month. But yeah, I've done it in the past couple of years. I'm doing it again. I'm gonna have a guest top 10 for Giant Bomb's Game of the Year stuff. I don't know when. It'll be tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday. But of course, I'll link it out and tell you about it. But yeah, I'm very happy to be doing that again. It's always nice when Alex asks. Uh, Genuinely thrilled when I get the offer to do it. But yeah, occasionally I get some people that follow me from that because they might not know me from other things, but they see my list and they're like, "Your list is weird. What's Frog Detective?" Okay, cool. That is just one example. All right, just doing a little panel lining here as we go. Sometimes I'll do it once the whole piece is assembled. Sometimes I will do it as we go. Some people do their panel lining on the actual spruce or when they remove the piece. Uh, I haven't decided what I like best. I do think I don't like doing it when it's all assembled because then you have to like you want to remove pieces as you go because sometimes they don't fit right. But I don't know if I should be doing them as I take them off or not. Like that is a thing that I have to kind of decide. Uh, um, is this is a new this doing panel lining is new. Uh, I predict Yakuza and Animal Crossing high in your list, Pat. Yeah. Um, I mean, I'll put a game I didn't play on my top 10 list. Uh, I mean, one year, a couple years ago, PUBG was on the top of my list. I played maybe like 3 to 10 hours of PUBG, but I watched like a lot of PUBG. And this year, I have not touched Animal Crossing, but Animal Crossing, I played a ton of I watched a ton of it. Animal Crossing. Crystal asks, "Is this an HG?" Yes, this is an HG. This is a high grade of the Nu Zeon Gundam from Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise. So yeah, this is a high grade Nu Zeon. It's based on the new Gundam from Char's Counterattack with that is heavily modified for the show. All right, so that's that piece, and then D13. Gotta get D13 out. We'll get that out there. I will say the last few high grades, the last like I don't know, 4 years, 3 years, really quality stuff. Lots of good. The HGUCs you'll find out there have been very solid kits. Good build quality. And I do have a soft spot for these. Like, I don't really like Build Divers as a show. I've kind of decided I'm not going to watch it anymore and re-rise, but I really do enjoy how the kits come together. I think they just look great. I love the idea of somebody, both this from Gundam Build Fighters, the idea of, well, if I was going to make this mech, I would take this Gundam and I would do this to it. I would do this to it. Instead of being dragon themed, my Shenlong or Altron will have many animals. It's just like, okay, sure, yeah, just go with like a cat theme. You should do that. All right, let's try. We're going to use black for this. Let's try doing our panel lining before we even put the piece on. All right, so put that there. And we'll put that there. And that'll be good. Oh, we got one little piece to put there. And a line there. And that looks pretty good. The plastic, the maroon here, doesn't have much depth to some of the lines. So the marker will come off of it pretty easily, which is okay because it is the deeper color compared to the bright red that we've got here. So that's all right. Although I do think that that ends up looking pretty sharp. And we got to put some pieces on here. 19. Let's see. Anything else going on with me? Not really. I would love to have some more things going on. I'm trying to. I got applications in for a few job things. All small stuff right now. I'm hoping to pick up some freelance work that's a little more pronounced, but right now it's a little light. Doing some customer service stuff, which I mean, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't love. I don't love doing customer service, but I'm pretty good at it. I'm good at understanding the systems used in it, and the nice thing about doing it all online is you can just yell and be mad in your own room, and people don't hear it. Yeah, so really, I'm trying to do stuff that doesn't require me to go into a place of business right now here in South Carolina, because making sure that I don't get sick or I don't bring anything home is very important because my folks are older and one of them is immune compromised. So trying to keep that going. I'm doing customer service stuff and I am looking for, full-time or part-time with that. I've been doing a lot of gigs here. So that's kind of been my thing. I have looked into that, doing the contract tracing thing. I've applied. Look, I applied for a lot of stuff, and we'll see what comes up. Part of it is that my permanent residence right now is South Carolina, but people look at my resume and they see all New York, and some online stuff, but they mostly see New York things, uh, and they're like, what's going on? And then I have to be like, the world, and they're like, oh yeah, we get it. And the number one thing anyone asks me who is located in my general area is, well, how long are you going to be here? And I have to be like, I don't know exactly, but like a while. Like when I can be immunized plus, like it's like I got to get vaccinated, and then also more time beyond that because I then got to like have the money to move back to New York and have there be something in New York for me to come back to. So it's like, but a lot of people don't want to hear that because, like, uh, they want you to be available indefinitely. And I said, like, I'm going to be here. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I, you know, it's like if you want me to work, you just have to let me know. I will do the work. But we'll see. Like I said, I've got some stuff coming up. I don't love doing customer service, but I'm pretty good at it. And like I said, one of the best things about doing it here now, in this house, is I can be loud and mad because I'm not talking to people on the phone. I'm just answering emails and doing my best to make people feel better. And most people who had problems over the Christmas break, that stuff has been settled. So that's a nice time to be doing that. Oops, this popped off, so I gotta put this back on. 2021 is going to be shit show for at least half the year. You can hire someone for 10 months at least. Exactly, Epic World. But also part of it is that, like, I'm pretty selective because, like I said, one of my goals is to make sure if I am working something, I can do it from this house, and I'm not doing it, and they don't expect me to be there. Or that if I am expected to go into a site, there aren't that many people, and they're practicing social distancing, and we're a mess. Because, like I said, I am living with someone who is immune compromised, so I have to look out for them. Besides just looking out for myself. So, uh, like I've applied for stocking gigs, stock shelves, overnight stuff like that. Because I don't mind working nights. I don't mind stocking. I don't mind doing that. I'm not forklift certified, but I can be. I know how to operate a forklift even if I'm not certified at the moment in it. All right, we finished a leg. One leg done. Look at that leg. Yeah. Look at that. That's a pretty good bend. That is a pretty good bend. Not a whole lot of movement. Well, some movement here on the foot. Um, but uh, but yeah, I was forklift certified at one point in my life. Yeah. I was as well. No, I applied for something not too long ago, and and like you said, they were asking me about how long I was planning on being in here and when I was going to go back to New York, and I was like, telling them all this stuff, and I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Because they're like, we want to hire locally because we're planning on reopening fully in a month, and I was like, oh. Like, yeah, this was like a company that had been doing work from home. They're like, yeah, we're gonna have everybody come in, and we'll just have we're just gonna space everybody out. And I was like, no, and I was like, well, if I get this job, I'm gonna have to quit it before they want me to come in. But I didn't get the job, and I was like, okay, that's good. Like I was still gonna go ahead with it because like hey, pay me to get trained to work this job from home and do all that. And then when you tell me I have to come in, I will either say, "Hey, let me keep doing this job from home like I've been doing," or we're done. And they were just, that's generally the vibe. It's yeah, it's tough right now. I mean, like obviously, and people are willing to give up a lot to guarantee employment. And like I said, uh, hoping for some stuff. I apply for a lot. It's lots of things. Applying for a job is right now. My full-time job is applying for a job, and my part-time job is doing internet stuff and having a good time on the internet. And that's the thing. But it's fine. I'm happy to do it. Um, you know, we'll see. Whoops, and I dropped a piece. So now I get to do the fun game of where did I put that piece? Where'd that piece go? It's right here. That is the beauty of working on a carpet right now, because if it had been a wood floor, like my previous place of living and working, this would have bounced somewhere random, and it would have taken me a while to find it. But instead, it just dropped and then was just hanging out on the carpet. The beauty of doing that. Um, what have you been doing to relax? So, uh, I play Hearthstone like a lot. Like I stream Hearthstone once a month or twice a month, depending. Usually once a month, because it's fun to do that. But I play Hearthstone just about every day because I like card games. That's my favorite at the moment. And yeah, it just brings me a lot of relaxation. Sometimes sometimes you get hyped up. Sometimes things don't go your way and you get frustrated. I get a little salty, but mostly I just mostly just enjoy hanging out and playing. So that is a thing that I do primarily as a means to relax is to play Hearthstone. Of course, I watch a lot of anime. We're going to talk about anime at the end of uh, or not, we're not at the end of, but yeah, we will talk about anime in the second half of the stream. Uh, get a lot of time with that there. And what I started doing a couple seasons ago, which I really like, is I have stuff that I watch to talk about on stream, and there are a couple shows this season that I'm watching that I don't talk about week to week because they're for me. Right now, ReZero is for me, and Beyond Bon is for me, because it's just so much entertainment and enjoy, and I just like watch a couple shows whenever I want to on my own schedule, not for a deadline of the stream. Um, Pat, would you consider moving to California for comedy-related jobs? It seems like comedy scene in California might come back sooner than the scene jobs in New York. So, Epic, that's certainly a thing to think about. Right now, I have a storage unit with most of my stuff in New York, so New York is calling me home. At some point, I will return to it. I always said about LA that I would move to LA for work. I wouldn't move to LA for opportunity. And I kind of stand by that. If I was in my 20s, I certainly would make a life-changing move like that. That would be a consideration. But as somebody that turned 40 last summer, uh, I I need some stability, and of course, and the other thing is like I'm gonna move back to New York for with work in mind, with an idea that there's something for me. There will have to be something going on there for me to do before I end up moving back. Uh, and that can mean a bunch of different things, but it won't just be like the opportunity. Uh, yeah, Alert Crash says California seems like an expensive place to move without something lined up. It totally is. So a lot of times, folks move to LA for the opportunities. A lot of people move to LA to see what's up and to see where their fortunes may lead. And I don't think that's wrong. I don't see anything wrong with doing that. I'm just at a place in my life where I uh, kind of need a little bit of some sort of support and stability. Can the Malone Zone and the Bear Cave ever cohabitate in the same town? Would there be like fusing matter and antimatter? Oh, Lashbrook, I mean, look, the difference between Casey and myself is I mean, how do I say different levels of perspective on how we view the world. Casey's certainly more of a hustler than I am, in a good way. Um, but yeah, but we're similar, simpatico people. So the pregnant pause is just because like Casey more openly dislikes himself than I openly dislike myself. I guess we will say, and that's the and that's not like me ragging on Casey. That part of Casey is being very open about what's going on with him, and I'm open about what's going on with me. But we have different vibes on it. And I was trying to say that in a way that didn't come like I was condescending or insulting a friend of mine. Of course, folks, fans of League of Heels will know that the Malone Zone was Casey Malone's interview segment for briefly for one show, basically, where he was the anti-Pat. So I know that's where the sentiment comes from. But beyond that, we're not that different. Um, Casey works in game dev. That was news to me when he said that on Abby Russell's Fortnite stream. Oh yeah, Casey. Casey works in the gaming industry. Uh, a lot of people associate Casey as a stand-up comedian, which he is. He is, and he's very funny. But he's also he. We all came to know Casey through game dev, by him being at for many years a Boston-based game developer. Um, that a lot of people became friends with, and also he's also very funny. But yeah, it was very funny to me because I know Casey, and most of the friends Casey and I have in common are from the world of video games, not comedy. And then I found out he was friends with a friend of mine in New York, and I was like, wait, why do you know each other? And then I was like, oh, that's right. Casey does comedy. Like, of course he does. Of course he does comedy. I feel like an asshole because, like, oh, you know him from comedy. Like, duh. I felt like a real heel for like forgetting, for like not understanding why they would know each other. All right, we're getting this leg together. We will take a pause for the cause in a moment or two. I'll talk about ways you can support the channel if you're so inclined, uh, and it was something you like to do. I'll talk about that in a moment or two. And then, of course, we'll talk about some anime. And if you're thinking, Pat, are you going to rag on some anime? The answer is fucking yes, I am. Because one of the worst shows. It's so funny because this is the winter anime 2021 winter anime season, right? It's brand new. This is the first season of the year, and there's already a contender for worst anime of 2021. The worst anime of 2021 already exists this season, and that doesn't always happen. A lot of times, there's a period. Is this the right piece? PC? Was this PC 8? No, this is PC 9. I got the wrong piece on here. I could tell right away that this was the wrong connector because it didn't fit right. I pulled a 9 instead of an 8, folks. Classic blunder. At least I figured that out right away. I was like, why isn't this working? Oh, because it's wrong. Duh. But yeah, it's very funny that there is already one of the worst shows of the year. Like, clearly. Like, it's the show to beat. I can't imagine a worse show coming out. It's totally possible that one will, because, that happens. But, whoo boy, my friends, it's a real bad show. We'll talk about that, because I'm not usually someone to hate watch, and the thing is, I'm not hate watching this. Sometimes I will finish a show that I've kind of fell out of love with, because I'm like, I kind of want to see where this is going, and I want to finish the fight. But this is a show that, like, it's not meant to be. They didn't try to make a bad show. They're trying to make a good show. They're just failing so spectacularly that it's incredible to watch. Oh boy, it's so good. It's so good. In that it's bad. It's highly recommended. All right, let's get this section together, and then we'll take our pause for the cause. Uh, so yeah, let me get that going here. Just snipping these parts out. Gonna do a little panel lining. Gonna put these pieces together. This kit comes together nice and easy. There's still plenty to do. We still have to do the waist. We have to do all the funnels. We got to do the weapons are big. So like we got more kit to assemble. Don't think we're gonna be like boom boom done. Usually the waist isn't too much on these high grades. They don't really put a lot of effort into that, but there'll still be some work to do here. All right, put that on there. And then this goes like this. And then this goes like that. Yeah. All right, we got through that part of the kit, and then we'll keep working. All right, so this is the break. If you're new to the stream, this is the pause for the cause. This is where I'm going to talk about ways you can support the channel if you'd like. You're under no, zero, 100% zero obligation to do any of the things that I'm going to talk to you about. But I felt like it's important for me to talk about ways you can support if you'd like to. If you are currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat. Let the people know you're a subscriber. Let them see the ways they can easily support using $5 a month. Or if you want to do $10 a month, you get that cool Death Scythe emote. It's me as a Death Scythe. Subscribing is a great way to support what I do, or using your Twitch Prime token. If you have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch, you get that Prime gaming token. You can use that. It's another way to support what I do. You can also gift a sub. You can join the gift leaderboard with Bobby and Silver and Aristofan. You can gift a sub. That's a great way to support new members of the community. And if you've been gifted a sub, you can convert that anytime. And it won't charge you until your gift month is up. So you still have some time left on your gift sub, you can renew that. That is a great way to help help me in what I do here. Also, bits and coins, always appreciated. You can always just do a drop of a bit, so we say thank you for that. That is another way to support what I do. Let's see. You could also, if you're like, Pat, I want to support you, but I don't want to give money to Twitch. I watch Twitch, and that's enough. I get that. Give me a follow if you want, so you know when I go live. Turn the notifications on so you get notification of that. But you could also join my Patreon. I got a Patreon. Patreon.com/PatBear. There's a $1 tier, a $3 tier, a $5 tier, and a $10 tier. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, what's up, YouTube viewers? You can check the show description for all the links I'm about to say here. I put them all in the show description. But yeah, I have a Patreon. You can join that. There are different tiers and different rewards for each tier. It's another way. It's another option. One-time donations, because once I build a model kit, I'm done building that model kit. And that is obviously self-evident, but I still mention it. You can donate, and I'll give you a shout-out for there. And all the money I make through Patreon, through Twitch, and through direct donations goes to buying more model kits, because I got to keep buying model kits. I've got, right now, I've got 2 high grades and a master grade, 2 master grades and a high grade waiting for me to build. I've got a few things I know coming in the mail, including somebody bought something off my Amazon wish list recently. So I got coming out. I don't know who bought it, but I've got something coming from my Amazon wish list, which I'll now talk about very briefly. I have an Amazon wish list. So if you want to buy something from my wish list, it'll arrive here. I will build it on stream ahead of anything else I have. It'll jump the queue, and I'll also give you a shout out on a separate video I make on my YouTube. Talking about that, I've got some inexpensive kits here, some Pokemon stuff, some Harapla, that's Haro, which is really fun. Hey, I didn't even know this came out. I didn't notice this. They put out a new version of the Heavy Arms. It is the high-grade Heavy Arms 144 high-grade of the Heavy Arms that recently came out. I just put that on my wish list because I didn't know that existed. I think that came out in 2019, or no, it came out last year in 2020, and I didn't notice it, so I put it on the list. Because I like the Heavy Arms. I like a gun arm and a knife, a switch knife. Like, that's fun. So I put a bunch of stuff on the list that I will build. If you buy it, it'll jump the queue, and I'll make as I said, I'll make a video where I say, hey, thanks so much, person, or anonymous person, if you don't want to include your name. But yeah, I put a few things up. There's some tools at the bottom that would be nice to have. And yeah, that is a way to support what I do. And we'll get back to building in just a moment, but I do like to go through these things. I only do it once a stream. USA Gundam Store is the alternative. You could buy gift cards at USA Gundam Store. They don't have a list thing, but they have gift cards to buy, and they'll send you an email with the code in the email. And then you send me a DM on Twitter or a whisper here on Twitch, and you're like, hey, I got this code for you. You want this code? And I'll go, yes, I do want this code, and I will buy something. And it'll act just like the Amazon wish list, in which case, whatever I buy, I'll build as soon as it comes in and make a video about that because I appreciate your support. Let's see, what else do I have to say? I have a Discord. If you want to support me and you don't want to spend any money, it does not cost any money to join my Discord. I post build photos in there. People post stuff they're working on. It's a nice little community, very chill community. Some posts, but not like a ridiculous amount, which is fun. Oh, cool. All All right, sorry. Checking something real quick. Just checked it. Looking good. I got a couple of videos I want you to check out. I put up a new video on Friday called for my series called Pat Bear's Anime Club, which is my YouTube series. It is about the Anime Awards. Crunchyroll's Anime Awards will be happening in February, and in right now up until the 22nd, you can vote. So you can vote every day, and I basically made a voting guide. These are the choices I made. You watch me make the choices in the video, and I kind of explain what's going on. I realize that the fact I may have messed up here and there a little bit. Maybe I could have done a little more research before it, but I think it's still a pretty good guide. The one thing I will say is I forget to say when we're talking about Best Girl that Makoto Ono from Diary of Our Days of the Breakwater was not listed, and that is a huge mistake because she's the best, and she should clearly Best Girl. But yeah, I put that in there so you can check that video out. And then let's see. Oh, Bear With Me. Bear With Me is my weekly series. I'll have a new one up this coming Wednesday, but the last one I put up last Wednesday is a reaction video. I react to looking at a bunny eating watermelon. And if that sounds good to you, you should check it out. But I've got a new one coming on Wednesday, and I think it's good. I think this next one people will like. But that last one was fun too. Yeah, I'm doing reaction videos. It's called Bear With Me because my name is Pat Bear. But I react to things. I think it's pretty fun. Okay, we're gonna talk about some anime. I'm gonna drink some water. We're gonna get back to working on our legs because you never skip leg day. That's the truth. But yeah, okay. So we'll get back to that and talk about some things. Most likely, like one of you has watched one of these things, but we'll go through it. Okay, so I got caught up on Mushoku Tensei, which is Jobless Reincarnation. So I don't know how many more episodes I'm going to keep watching because the big thing about this show is, I tweeted about this, and doesn't mean it's not true. I hate the main character. So to pull back a little bit, Jobless Reincarnation is somewhat famous in internet circles, particularly in Japan. It is the godfather of modern isekai. So, when you think of modern isekai, a lot of times people go, oh, Sword Art Online popularized that. And it certainly did. But the thing that popularized the tropes you find in isekai, different world anime, in the modern context, which is the modern context of that, as I've said, but I'll just really quickly explain it. Modern isekai context is this. You've got a dude who dies or is magically transported to a fantasy world. Sometimes those worlds resemble the video game that character was playing. But most of the time, it is some sort of European-style fantasy thing. The person that died, as I said, often is a male, often is older, either a teen or older, has life experience, and now has been reincarnated as a child and starting over. And they're starting over with not only their knowledge of the world they came from, putting them at advantage over a child, let's say, but also they have a direct understanding of what a fantasy world is like through fiction. So often they have tremendous power, and they have surprising abilities, and they have an unusual knowledge of the world around them and the world of magic, like an inherent practical knowledge because they're coming in as an outsider with knowledge. Those are all fundamental things about the genre. There's also the whole element of often these are young men, and they are lecherous at best. There is a harem element because there are lots of ladies who are interested in this person, or they end up being surrounded by lots of ladies. And often the main character is not the best character in the show. There are supporting characters that are clearly superior. They're more interesting. They're more fun. And they often have more character development. and more love from the fans. And when I say all this, that's because of this web novel. Jobless Reincarnation is a web novel from the year 2012 that started the modern isekai. These shows that have all these tropes that you're aware of, exist. And the postmodern isekai, like slime or spider, or didn't I say to make my abilities average in the next life, are all reactions to modern isekai. But basically, this web novel was so fucking popular that everything comes from it. Loner dies, has regrets, is reborn into another world, is very powerful and special, but also lecherous and not great. And everyone took from that because it fucking worked. Because it is where you start if you want to do it. It popularized the subgenre. So what ends up happening is that this anime feels very dated and very trite because it's not doing anything new with the subgenre. It's just doing the subgenre because it popularized. I don't want to say invented. It popularized the subgenre. Uh, so like there's no twist to it. There's no like, well, in this way, it's it's like this, but the character isn't powerful, or it's a lady and it's a dating sim game instead of an action game, or it's just there's magic, but it's really about a girl who loves books or whatever. There's no twist on it, or like it's a slime or a spider. There is no twist. The twist is there's no twist. Um, it's kind of interesting because it also exists in a world where it doesn't exist in a. It exists in a version of this where they also all the shortcuts are done. Like it has to struggle with the idea of like this 37-year-old man is just reborn, and he's like a baby, and you see him grow up a little bit, and you see him age. Whereas they solved that problem of how weird is it to be like 3 months old and a 37-year-old man. Well, they solved that problem because in other isekai, you wake up as a teen or a young boy. You just take over someone's life, or you've lived that life for a while, and then you suddenly remember your memories from your previous life and integrate them in. This anime doesn't have the luxury of doing that because it is an older story. So that's kind of interesting. And it kind of makes up for the fact that this main character sucks. Here's the thing. He just sucks. Like, he's got a little... His tragic backstory sucks. His tragic backstory was that he was bullied, and then he became a recluse because of it. And up until the point... And, like, the first time he ever did something good with his life causes him to be hit by a bus or a truck. Yes, of course. He gets hit by a truck. That's how this anime starts. But he has magic powers, and he's fought great. The anime... Here's the thing. Also, I want him to become a better person, but I don't think he will, because I think part of the show's thing is that he's not a good person yet. But he sucks, and I don't like him, and I would like him to be better. Because his master's teaching him is interesting. She's an interesting character. I'd like to see more with her. I think we don't see her for a while. There's promises of other characters. There's promise of a whole wide world and other things happening. There's even like a lot of really well done art. The art in this show, in Jobless Reincarnation, is really good. It's really solid. It's really well done. The magic animation is really strong. The characters all have a lot of personality and look really good. The digital work is really well done. I haven't seen a drop of what do you call it? Not a hint of like bad CG done by a different studio. This all looks just so good, and it's so impressive. And I just wish I liked it. And I'm probably going to stick with it. Mostly I'm going to stick with it because there's not a lot of stuff that I watch on Sunday and Monday right now, so I guess I'll keep watching. Like I said, I'm going to talk about 3 shows tonight, and one of those 3 shows, I'm just going to laugh at how bad it is. So it's like, okay, well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I guess I'll keep up with this. Um, I just hope that sooner rather than later, the main character kind of turns his life around and like becomes a better guy. I'm hoping that with age he does. I'm not holding out a lot of hope, but you never know. Maybe he'll turn the corner and start to become a good dude once he grows up a little bit. Even though he is 5 at the end of the second episode, he's 5 or 6. He's 5 at the end of that episode, 5 or 6, which makes him like 42 or 43. So we'll see. There's a lot of internal monologue that I think is probably okay. I don't know. But that is Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. I don't know. I don't know if I recommend it. It's on Funimation. I don't know if I can recommend it. But there is something to it, and I'm going to keep up with it. Just hoping that he becomes a better person and a better character. But as I said, since it is the beginning of this genre, I can't really hold out for it to be much better than it is. Alright, not a lot of panel lining needed on this. We'll just clean it up. Okay. Last week I really ragged on X-Arm, and I'm going to keep ragging on X-Arm. Y'all, please. Okay, at this point you can watch episode 1. You can watch episode 1 with ads on Crunchyroll. Just if you're not a purveyor of bad, maybe you don't have to watch it. I'm not somebody that watches things because they're bad, but I haven't laughed this hard in so long. Comedies wish they could be as funny as X-Arm is doing, completely by accident. I'm not going to give you a blow to blow, but it continues to be terrible and easily the worst show of the year. I can't imagine a show being worse. Here are questions I have watching this. Why are some characters 2D and others 3D models that are talking to one another? Why is there fog everywhere? Sometimes in fights, sometimes just during scenes. Why do some characters not blink at all? Why does their hair not move while they're moving? Why did this show get made? Why is it a show? Are people who love the manga very sad right now? I have to imagine they are. It is, and I always want to say this because I feel like it's so important to say. They got a director who's only done live action fight choreography. And they were like, oh, well, if we get someone who's a fight choreography director, then the fight scenes will look really good. Well, he has little to no interest in anime, has never worked in the anime industry, doesn't have much of a knowledge of anime and how it works. And he's not like co-director along with like an old hand to show him the ropes. The studio that's doing it, the production studio that's doing it, this is their first anime. They've only done commercials and some special effects for live action things. It's very clear that they relied on mocap. They did a lot of mocap. And the mocap is good, but you can't just mocap 3D models and then go, and we're done. Like, you have to do more effects to it. And by effects, I don't mean fog, because that is their solution, is just put more fog in it, and that's not a solution to a problem. That is a different problem. And it's, folks, it's so bad. It's so bad, it's unbelievably terrible. The voice actors are trying really hard, and there's some quality voice actors in this show. But you wouldn't know it because the lips on a lot of the characters don't move along with the people talking. It'll be very easy to dub because it's not like it's going to be worse than the original. Holy shit, this show sucks shit. Lastbrook says, speaking of isekai, I started watching Konosuba, and boy, that show starts horny and just gets worse, huh? Yeah. Have you met Darkness yet? Because Lashbrook, if you haven't met Darkness, you don't know horny and a problem. Uh, I will say this. You may remember that I was watching an isekai about that I had to give up on my heart about a wrestler that gets isekai'd, but he loves animals and he won't attack beast people, so he just opens up a pet shop. Uh, and that's by the same people that brought you Konosuba. And I was so mad at how horny and weird that show was. Uh, oh, I've watched all of season one since last book. Yeah, it's just Megumi is such a cool character. For folks that didn't watch the show, this is a isekai. It's a little bit postmodern. It's a bridged postmodern because it is a main character who is pretty much worthless. But he still like attracts a lot of people. But it's a comedy, so like he's not winning at being isekai. Um, and there's some characters that are fine and some characters that are good. Uh, and the thing that is to me the biggest bummer about the show is Megami is just incredibly awesome. The premise that there is a girl that only wants to use explosion magic. Explosion magic. She only wants to use the top tier magic of yeah, it's a great. But the thing is, she's not really at class to use that magic. She only wants to use the strongest magic and then she's like worthless after that. Because like if she's going to use magic, why not make it explosion magic? Why not make it the best magic possible? And she's great. She's still really great. But most of the other characters are awful, and I hate them. And I don't know why I would root for them. And it's a bad show. And I didn't finish season one. You've watched more of it than I have. I tapped out a couple episodes into Darkness because I was just like, this is a bridge too far. We have hit the point where I cannot ignore that I hate this. So I refuse to ignore that I hate it. So I just don't watch it anymore. All right, I want to talk to you about what the hell is happening in Suppose a Kid from the Last Dungeon Boonies moved to a starter town. If you haven't been watching my streams here, this is episode 3 of the show. A recap. What a lovely premise for a show. You've got Lloyd. He's the weakest person in his village. He wants to be a cool hero. He wants to become a soldier. So that he can be like his hero, which is like his older brother. He wants to be on, but he's the weakest person in his village. So he gets permission to go to the starter town, the capital, which is like where all adventurers start, because he's going to join and he'll get stronger by being in the military. But the thing is that Lloyd is not a human. He doesn't know he's not a human, but he is part of an ancient race of people that live in this village that look human but aren't human. And even though he's the weakest person there, he is stronger than everyone that he's ever met in the capital, that he meets in the capital. He is insanely strong and overpowered, but he has no confidence in himself because he only equates himself, he only compares himself to the most powerful people in the land, in his village, of which he is clearly, so like, he's just like, oh, I know this like home remedy, and like he knows ancient runes. He can summon rain. He can do all this stuff that people are like, what is happening right now? How are you this strong? But he doesn't believe in himself. And that premise is so easy and so fun. And this anime is a comedy in that respect. Like there's a lot of comedy of errors in Suppose a Kid. But the other thing about Suppose a Kid, what's Prince Isekai are basically based on JRPGs and their tropes. So Lord Crashington, almost every isekai is a fantasy RPG, heavily influenced by Dungeons and Dragons and like Dragon Quest. Almost all of them. There are some sci-fi ones. There are some that are a different kind of fantasy, but most of it is just like, what if this random dude reincarnated as the next King Arthur? Is like a lot of it. I mean, there's one show where he's like literally there's a character named Merlin, and it's like the adopted grandson of Merlin. Like, but yeah, no, that is most fantasy isekai are that. Um, some of them aren't, but a lot of them are. It's very easy to do because then you're just putting um, just easy to convey video game MMORPG tropes. Now it's MMORPGs, then it was just MMOs or RPGs. Um, so here's the thing about Supposed Kid. They take this really simple premise. You can just have like a comedy of errors with this overpowered guy, and he keeps accidentally not realizing he's saving the day, and maybe eventually he'll like, because like people are like, no, you're actually strong, and he's like, thank you, you're so kind, thank you for believing in me, thank you for supporting me, thank you for being so nice. Like he doesn't get that he kicks ass. In his mind, the giant monsters that nobody in this town have any business fighting, that he easily conquers. He doesn't think they're monsters. He thinks they're like just insects or animals. He's like, those aren't monsters. I've never fought a monster because like yeah, he just doesn't understand his own strength. It's a great premise for a show. And this show ruins that by having a whole lot of plot. Between episode 2 and this episode, episode 3, they're doing a whole season's worth of plot. Here are the things that happened in this episode. We find out who the missing princess is. There was a princess. We found out last episode she's missing. We found out who it is. That shouldn't happen in episode 3, but it does. We find out who is the person controlling the king behind the scenes. All in this episode, we find out the motivation of and who is doing the evil shit. We did not know that before this episode. Also, we find out by the end of episode 3 that someone else was manipulating that person and is manipulating the whole thing behind the scenes. You know, the end of a season reveal that would lead to the next season, the cliffhanger. We find that out in this episode. And then, beyond that, we find out who it is. The actual person, and it's a demon lord. All of those things were revealed in one episode. Who the princess is, who's behind the plot to do this, who's really behind the plot to do this, all got revealed in one episode. Everyone but Lloyd also knows who the princess is through happenstance. Literally unbelievable that all this shit. Oh, we're body complete, by the way. We're going to work now on the funnels, but we are body complete on this kit. I just put that together as I was talking about this. I don't know why they did this. Like, I think they did this because Lloyd will probably fix the problem by the end of next episode, I guess. And then there'll be more things they have to do. But, like, this show is such a simple, easy premise that they seem like, I don't know, like they're compensating for it by making it, like, completely bonkers and, like, cramming in a bunch of stuff is the only thing I can think of because I don't understand why you do this. Anyway, there are some jokes to be had. Like, the princess is Marie. Marie, the witch we met in episode 1, she's the princess. She's been plotting to figure out who is in control of her dad and making her dad a puppet, and dispelling this and saving her dad and the kingdom. That's Marie. We learned that the name of the princess is Maria. So this girl has been posing as a witch named Marie, and her real name is Maria. And her disguise was that she started wearing glasses and a witch hat. And luckily, Riho, who is the one-armed mercenary, she is often the voice of reason in this anime, and she's just like, this is definitely you. You are bad at hiding this. How did no one notice this was you? What are we doing here? She's quick to, like, figure stuff out. There's some back and forth stuff that like isn't important, and I'm not even going to talk about. Like, there's a lot of like some people get what's going on, other people don't. There's a whole thing where like Lloyd feels bad. Lloyd wants to help, but basically he doesn't know that he's not a human. Uh, and everyone from his village, they don't get involved in the affairs of humans, so he can't help. So Marie has to tell him, "You can't help me," and like lies to him about how he's not strong enough to be able to help. So he's bummed about that. Uh, yeah, Chrome. Oh, also, out of nowhere, we find out in episode 1 and into 2, the guy who's in charge of bringing in all of the recruits, all of the people that are going to join this army, because you got to protect people, we got to get ready for the army. The guy who's in charge of all that, he's a guy named Marathothan. He's the bad guy that has been manipulating the king this whole time. That's right. The guy that is the reason why many of our characters are here in the first place is the bad guy. But don't worry, he was just being manipulated to manipulate, because he hates this other country, but the Demon King is the reason why he hates the other country. So, and also the Demon King turns him into a big like insect man. So now he's a big insect man, which sucks for him, but he's a big insect man now. So sorry, dude. Now you got to fight people. Yeah. It's a demon. We got a demon lord. It's a like I'm being harsh on the show, which sucks because I like it. Look, I don't love the show. Like, there's stuff about it I don't love. Um, the big thing that I don't love about Supposed Kid from the Last Dungeon Boonies moved to a starter town is the character of Selen, because she is a tsundere character, and I don't love tsundere characters. I really very much dislike the trope. She is well she's tsundere and yandere, which I hate. That's an awful combination of people that are like, I'm in love with you, I'm going to act weird around you. Also, I'm going to act violent about anyone I consider a rival, which is just so dislikable. Yeah, every time she's on the screen, I'm like, I can't wait for you to not be on the screen, lady. So hopefully she will cool out a bit. But yeah, I want to like the show, but it just feels like it needs to throw so much plot at me, and I'm really frustrated by that, because otherwise I have enjoyed elements of the show and I want to keep watching it, but right now I can't keep watching it because it's not fun. Just very frustrating. And that's the anime I've been watching this week. That's really it. Again, I hope to have more shows that I like. For right now, there's a lot of stuff that comes out on Thursday. So I've got right now that time I got reincarnated as slime is pretty light. Black Clover is going to pick up with some. It was kind of like this last episode, but it'll get dark again. Laid Back Camp fucking rules. Having design team is really fun. I think I have until I'm gonna watch it on my own, but I think I'm not gonna watch week to week Cells at Work season 2. I watched the second episode and I just kind of feel weird, flat about it. I don't know. So, which sucks because I really liked the first season of Cells at Work. So I was hoping to very much enjoy this season, but right now I am not. And yeah, I haven't started Doctor Stone, Stone World season 2 of Doctor Stone. Haven't started it yet. I will watch it, but I have not started it yet. Been lucky I have not gotten spoiled by anything from it yet, but I will. I mean, I will keep watching. All right, so we're working on the funnels here, the backpack funnel pieces. So let me get at least some of this done. D15. Gotta look at how this looks. What are y'all watching? Anybody watching any? If you're watching anime stuff, if you're watching, what are you watching this season? If you're watching any TV stuff that you think is awesome and you want me to know about, feel free to let me know. But yeah, if if you're still like if you're big on football right now, you got all kinds of football that you're checking out, and you're like, Pat, no, I can't watch anime or TV. I'm watching football. Like, let me know. Yeah, what are you up to? What do you got going on? If you're watching the wrestling, you can keep me up to date on what you're into and what's going on. If you're like, I really like Kevin Owens, but I don't need to see Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns again. You wish that it had been someone that wasn't Kevin Owens in this position. So let me know what's up. What do you got going on? Talk to me, chat. We got a little time left, and I would love to talk to you about what's up. So feel free to drop whatever you want in the comments, in the chat window, and I will see what you say, and I will respond to it in a way that is, leads to conversation and me being able to talk to you. While I'm waiting to see, Lord Crashton says, what percent? Oh no, that was just you asking a question before. That was not a new thing. My next stream is going to be this Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. This Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. First thing we're going to do is we're going to play some free games that are available on itch. And we're going to be playing some jigsaw puzzle games that are on itch. Because we didn't finish that Animal Crossing puzzle, and I want to finish a puzzle. So we're going to, quote unquote, finish a puzzle by me doing that. That's my big genius plan is we're just going to do that. And then we'll play Cloud Gardens. That's going to Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I started playing Yakuza Like a Dragon last week. It's a video game. It is indeed. Already ran into Pokemon reference. Yeah, it's a very modern, very modern game with lots of modern sensibilities. It also is in love. It is a game that it loves Dragon Quest. It is made by people who love Dragon Quest and who didn't ever work on an RPG like that, which is, I think, the failing of it, but it is otherwise fantastic. Do the Animal Crossing puzzle as a 24-hour live stream. Hell no, Lord Crashington. That'll never happen. I will never do that for various reasons, including I don't want to. I've been watching Batman Beyond, says Lashbrook, on HBO Max. It's been a couple of years since I watched my DVDs, but the Master on HBO seems bad. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. That's a bummer that's bad. You'd hope that it was good. That's a shame. Yeah, I liked that show. It had some style. It was kind of fun. Like it was a different take on it. Like Bruce as like an old man, kind of like guardian mentor type was like an interesting choice. Okay, so this goes like this. This goes like this. Like that? Nope. Like that. There we go. Okay. And this goes in here. But yeah, Like a Dragon was a very fun game. I really enjoyed it, and although I did get stuck sometimes where I had to go in power level, which was frustrating. Like I said, I think that the sequel, either a direct sequel or this style, if they do another game in this style, I think it will be really fun because they will have a lot of they'll have gotten a lot of experience doing it. Okay, so let's get some not Nolan, let me say Nolan. Let's get some marker work done on these two pieces that we did here. And we'll probably call it quits after we're done with that. We'll go and find someone to raid, because that's what we do here. We are going to raid at the end of the stream, so don't you worry about that, folks. If you're like, well, Pat, are you going to go and raid and show some love to another streamer? Yes, we will do that. We will go find somebody to go and keep the fun going. Go hang out with somebody. Somebody cool. Alright, so that's good. this here. Do this here. And clean that up. But yeah, I'm going to play more DDR, do some Step Mania, try to keep going, and I will try to come up with something fun to talk about on Thursday. I mean, it'll be multiple days until Thursday. I've got time to figure out something fun to talk to y'all about. I've caught multiple instances of like light bleeding in from the sides or seeing the edge of a frame I was never meant to see. It's weird. Uh, oh, on Batman Beyond, yeah, that is weird. It's just like the transfer. That is strange. From the original, yeah, instead of the home release. Weird. Well, hopefully it gets better as you watch it and they like figure their shit out. That sucks. Alright, so we're just putting some gray here on our gold. Just kind of going through. Again, if we mess up, that's fine because we're going to erase it because we're not letting it really dry here before we go in and clean it up. So we'll just go and then, oh yeah, get it there. And then we'll just go hit the old eraser there. And it will leave the marks in the crevices where we want it and not on the top of it where we don't want the marker. And it'll just make it pop a little bit. Not too much, but just a little bit. There. And we're using gray on this gold, which might not be the best color for it, but it does seem to look pretty good this way. So I'm going to keep it. But yeah, I'm not super sure this was the right color, but it's an odd gold. It's not a yellowish gold like you would normally see on a kit. So I normally for that gold I would use brown, but I don't think that's going to work well with this, and I didn't like how black looked on it in the test piece we did, so let's do that. And then we'll do the other side. I'm having fun with Yakuza. My biggest annoyance right now is in Chapter 4 is running across the map. Getting a taxi is relatively expensive, and it took a while for me to figure out how to unlock new taxi spots. Yeah, Aristocrat. I mean, that is a problem with this particular Yakuza, is there is a lot of stuff that, like, I felt when I was playing, I was, like, looking up in guides or, like, looking in wikias or, like, you know, searching the question on Google. But yeah, it felt like a lot of stuff wasn't like if I was told about it, I don't remember being told about it, and I was like, oh, that's not great. I would like to know what I'm supposed to be doing here. But yeah, I end up with a lot of times where I was just like cruising along, and I was, you know, I guess supposed to be leveling up or powering up and unlocking stuff, and I wasn't, and then I was like, oh, I'm in trouble right now. I gotta go and grind. I wasn't a fan of that. But overall, I enjoyed the game. It's got great style, great characters. Story is bonkers, but fun. It is enjoyable. All right, so we did that. So we've got a little bit of our arch, and then A is gonna go. Let's see. How does this thing go together? Oh yeah, so we do A, B, C, and D, and then they all go into this, and they're all going to go on the back, and it's like a cape, but it's also all the foils, and then we'll do the weapons. So we will get the rest of these foils done, all of the weapons done on our next stream, and then I'll also figure out what I'm going to build after this. Like I said, I do have something coming in the mail, but I don't think I'm going to get it in time for Thursday's stream, so I'll put a poll up of the stuff I do have available about what I should build next, or I'll just pick something. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, at least we're body complete, and now we just have to work on all the accessories and stuff. So that's still pretty cool. Thanks so much for hanging out. As I said, we are going to go and raid. So, but thank you for being here. I hope you will come and check out my stream in the future, and come check out a stream. Again, I'm playing some jigsaw puzzle games, digital jigsaw puzzle games on Wednesday, and then I will be Uh, After that, I will be playing Cloud Gardens. Just want to see when a friend of mine started streaming. Oh, only an hour ago. Great. So we're gonna go raid our friend Zandra Vandra. Uh, uh, you may know Zandra from making my emotes and being a rad artist and light novel writer. She absolutely rules, and so we're gonna go give her a raid. So feel free to come along on this raid. Uh, have a great night. Otherwise, you don't have to come along on the raid, but if you'd like to, I would love it if you could because Xandra's great, and that way you can keep watching fun stuff on here on streams on Twitch. But yeah, please come back on Wednesday to watch me play some video games and hang out. Come back on Thursday for a lovely evening of model kit building where we will complete this kit and then start something new. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you had a great evening. I'll see you in the next Build with Bear. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.